see. It's working on YouTube.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, it is.
Are you sick of the Mets, Abe? Is that why you got that mask on?
Sick of the Mets. It's a bar. Might be a true bar, but who knows?
According to MLB.com, we are top 10 lineups, top 10.
Top 10.
Starting pitchings, top 10 rotation.
MLB said it.
Pitching.
Put some respect on our names.
Spec, he said, with a
Apparently,
CK.
the Dodgers have the number one lineup this season.
And even without David Price, look at that.
Well, we still got Kershaw, so who knows? All right.
The Braves signed Yasiel Puig.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a good move.
That's a good pickup for him.
Yeah.
I like the energy.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
They're still not doing nothing.
He's still young though. He's like,
he's still young.
4?
Omo Naija.
Sheesh.
Brat.
All right, let's run the intro.
Let's get it. Here we are. Here we are. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls,
My bad.
children of all ages, welcome to another episode of the Osa and Abe Podcast, presented to you by SSA in conjunction with the Craft Factory. You know what time it is. You know who it is. It's your boy, the man who puts the Osa and Abe.
Yep.
And somewhere else on this screen, my brother, decked out in the green and all kinds of green. And you will find out soon why.
Hey.
Abe, Nigerian nightmare Grace. Okay, man. Okay. Good. Somewhere else on this screen with a fresh ball fade. Talk about it, somebody.
Well, which one? Because,
Oh, see, God don't like ugly. Why you keep doing this?
Listen.
He ain't say nothing in the beginning. He wanted to wait until we were live. He wanted to wait until we were live before he said something.
No.
He didn't want all praise going to Emmanuel. He had to remind people like, hello,
I'm
here.
just saying, which brother you talking about?
He gave a humble brag. Well, which one? Which ball fade are you? His voice got real Michael Jackson.
Order instruction.
Which ball fade, Osa? You gonna do a moonwalk on me?
Not Mike.
This is, I think, your third or fourth week strong with this name, EB over everybody. You really buying into Imani Bates. Okay, bless your heart, Emmanuel. Yeah, bless your heart, Baba Funke. And then the other ball fade.
It is a drop fade by technicality. No ball.
Fade is a fade. Our producer, the man, no myths, all legend, on the 2s and 1s. Cecil.
2s and 1s. Wow.
Funke.
No rhythm.
You see what I did there? 2s and 1s. Don't be mad. Anyways, gentlemen, how are we feeling today? How are we feeling today?
Good.
Oh, ain't
Pretty
nothing but a
good.
G thing. I can't
Pretty
complain
good.
about nada.
Yeah.
Nada boom bada.
Let's see. Sports is back, even though it feels like World War IV. Battle of attrition with everybody getting sick, COVID or whatever. But hey, sports is back. We're grateful at least, but at what cost? Who knows?
At what cost? Speaking of sports being back, y'all, listen. All the news and all the rage has been surrounding the bubbles, right? all kinds of. If I hear one more thing about, every time I hear the bubble, I think of that movie Bubble Boy. Did y'all see that movie Bubble Boy? It's kind of old, 90s, but yeah, that's all I think about when I hear the bubble. Last week were the pictures from the NBA bubble of that trash food that they've been eating. On top of that, though, just a side note, in case y'all don't know why they're getting trash food, it's because from the they're getting it from the park because they're at Disney World, and so everyone is technically in quarantine. But after their whatever, I think it's 8 days is done, then they can have a private chef and all that other stuff come in, which is cool. But it came out today that the league actually also hired a pretty well-known, pro chef to come in and consult with Disney to make sure they weren't serving. If it was Gordon Ramsay, he would have burned the kitchen down. Okay, I forget his name, but they hired this chef to come in and consult. So hopefully we're no longer going to see, hospital food being served to these players. And the other difficulty is there are players with dietary restrictions as well. So it makes it a little difficult. So the NBA bubble, we've seen the I don't want to say atrocities because, at least they have food in their bellies, but we've seen the shenanigans there. We've seen the shenanigans in the WNBA bubble, right?
Yo, dog, man,
crazy stuff. Sad.
I mean,
that's crazy.
You got a player that's taking medicine that really don't want to go, but you forcing her to go.
You feel me? Elena Deladon, reigning MVP, taking 64 pills a day for a combination of Lyme disease and back, recurring back issues. Yeah. And ask for a medical exemption to opt out of the season, and you say no.
Yeah, like
that is.
It's
go
wild.
ahead, Z.
No, my main issue is this. The WNBA started off as a catalyst, like, yeah, they're leading the way with doing the right things, with social justice and everything that's been going on. They've been doing it right. And then the moment they hit the bubble, it's like they forgot all types of morality, like from the laundry room issue, from the food, from their practice time. They got to practice on like one facility. Like they don't have that many facilities, obviously, to practice in. In this situation where she's taking, Ella's taking 64 pills, which first of all is mind-boggling because I'm like, where in the time can you eat throughout the day? So you're taking that, you're telling her, hey, we need you at the bubble because this is your job. Okay, as an employee, there is or should be a clause or something in the handbook that says, if a person is not ready to work in an environment that doesn't aid their health of their body, they shouldn't be going. So the fact that she has to choose, and she's been public, she's actually posted something today on the Players Tribune as far as, the fact that I have to choose hurts. Like, and she says, we don't get, our paychecks is nowhere near the NBA's paychecks, number one. And so the fact that I can't miss because that's a whole paycheck I'll miss. But at the same time, I don't want to go because I'm literally going to risk my life. That is unethical. That's immoral to me. And for a workplace to force you to pretty much go to work, even though your life is at stake. It would have been different if their contracts was way up to par as far as money-wise compared to the NBA. But these women are not making anything compared to sports standards. So the fact that you're making these women play beyond all measure because you want them to put out a sport on TV, yeah, I mean, I'm a man and I'm offended. Like, I'm offended for them. I feel really bad that has to be an example. But I will say, if she decides to not play, I think that'll send just an alarm around sports, period, if she decides to play. Because she is one of the faces of the WNBA on that side, number one. And two, I really believe if she says, you know what, forget the paycheck, my life is more important, I think that'll have a major effect on other athletes, coming to work to play, especially with this going on. So, yeah, I hope she does sit out because I think it'll set a domino effect off.
Looking at it as well, Riley brings up a valid point. He says, imagine if LeBron, because she's the MVP, reigning MVP. Yeah. Imagine if LeBron, Pat Mahomes said that they were sitting out due to medical issues. They were opting
Did they
out.
win the ring last year? Or am I mistaken?
The Mystics? No, Mystics didn't.
I believe it was the Seattle Storm.
Yes, the Storm. It wasn't the Mystics. So imagine if one of those MVPs sat out. Like, what would that look like? People would be not just up in arms, but there would be plenty of people who'd come out and support and say, yeah. But then you'd have some of the idiots like we've seen recently in the sports world when players like a David Price opts out, who say, whoa, it's great that you have the opportunity to opt out, but what about us, essential workers and all of that? At the end of the day, this is their livelihood. I hope that the WNBA Players Union steps up, Players Association steps up. Shout out to one of the Agumake sisters, who's I think president of the association. Mm-hmm. Step up and you guys fire that shot across the bow in defense of EDD. Also, I mean, bring them out. Bring them out. And by EDD, I mean Elena Deladon. Oh, it was the Mystics. Riley said it was the Mystics. So she's the reigning MVP from the reigning. So the best example then. Yeah, imagine if Pat Mahomes said he's opting out of this season for health issues.
Yeah, it would have sent off waves.
Shock waves.
Yeah.
The other thing that people aren't realizing is this: WNBA players literally play, that some of the top ones play basketball year round. They have the WNBA season, and then they have to go play overseas because they make more money playing overseas just to make ends meet. So as we've seen, we're in a pandemic, so they can't play overseas this year. So the majority of your income is gone. So when she's saying I have to choose between health and a paycheck, she's not just saying this. This is a very, very real thing. She could lose her income for the year.
And these players don't have endorsements like, let's say, Candace Parker. Now, granted, Candace Parker, yes, she's able to have endorsements and stuff. So if she was to say, you know what, I'm out, she's cool because she works with TNT.
And she's on TNT.
All these other companies. Yep. There's other female athletes. The Gumakes, they have other resources, but their majority of the players, let's just say Ella and even Sabrina, like she only has one endorsement for shoe deal right now.
Elena.
I keep saying Ella, but Elena. But if they were to say I'm out, they would probably be struggling. And so I don't want us to, because people think, oh, they're straight, they're athletes, they're professional athletes. No, they're professional athletes, but a lot of these players make a lot of money off of endorsements, commercials, shoe deals, bookings. Speaking, a lot of these players are speaking, what am I trying to say? Authors and speakers like Maya Moore, who just helped an inmate get out of prison. So she's been working on that because of the fact that she's, dare I say, she did risk a lot, but at the end of the day, she does have some backing too. Let's just be honest. So a lot of these players it's a real life decision of going to this bubble and playing and risking a lot. So they have to be able to change some stuff because they've been in the league for what, 20 years? WNBA has been around for more than 20 years now. So
it's actually crazy too because on the one hand, they've been talking about equality. And then on the other hand, they're not really showing that equality with the fact that they're denying Elena. But it's so curious how everything is moving in a circle too, because just today, Asia Irving, Kyrie's sister, dropped her own shoe in conjunction with the Kyrie. So I think the Kyrie 6s, and they just dropped today. And I like them. I like them for sure. But the tagline is, who's something like, who said woman ain't meant to fly, something like that. I thought it was a dope tagline, and it got me to thinking. It's like, all right, we got Kyrie's sister out here stunting. It made me start thinking of like, yo, so what about other women in the shoe industry? Who else got a shoe game? So I was looking it up, and I saw that the first person was Cheryl Swoops to get her own signature shoe, not a collaboration, but her own signature shoe. And I was like, all right, cool, the Air Swoops. And, of course, Lisa Leslie and whatnot, they got into it. But it said that no current WNBA player has a signature shoe deal. they may have a collaborations or a limited like series that comes out in conjunction with, but no one actually has their own signature shoe line.
And I'm looking, one of the greatest women players.
Yeah, I'm looking and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you know, and when we were talking about it, you said yourself that Maya Moore probably would have been the first one. And I think she has a collaboration with Air Jordan.
She's on Jordan Brand. So she was the first woman to get signed to Jordan Brand. Shout out to her. And I really believe if she hadn't stepped away for the social justice work, that she probably would have got that signature shoe. But it's all been collabs. It hasn't been a signature shoe deal.
Yeah. And so I was just like, dang, like we need to get some of these WNBA players a signature shoe deal. Because you mentioned earlier Sabrina Ionescu. She teased that with her signing that she might have her own signature shoe coming out in the future too. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's gonna be fire. And so when I kept digging into more research, I saw that first of all, we need the Ogwumike sisters to all get their own shoe line. That's already a trio. I'm confident because I already know the color scheme gonna be fire.
Let's go. That's what we calling it.
Yo, facts. Yo, they gonna be nice though. The green with the off whites. Oh man, I'm copying that. But
the Zoom Freak 2s, because those are
all right. You know what?
Them things.
Look, so I was looking at it. It said I saw what they were trying to go with it, and I wasn't against it. It just didn't come out right. Like I feel like in their head it looked better, and then when they actually put it on the paper, like this is not. This ain't.
You saw how I described them. Listen, if the why nots, the Kobe's, and the PGs all had a shoe baby together, that's what it would have looked like. It didn't work. That ain't it, Chief. That ain't it.
But still, shout out to Santia Deck, who is the first woman athlete to own her own shoe company. Like she has her own shoe brand called Tronus. You may know her as the highest paid women's football player. She signed a contract with the LA Flames, I believe they're called, something like that. And you know, black woman, shout out to her. You know, being able to say, "Hey, I control the shoe brand. I control this brand. This is my brand." You know, when you see these pop off, it's not going to be like, "Oh, that's Nike's." No, this is a whole different shoe identity. This is called the Tronus. So when she drops that line, definitely gonna be looking forward to it. Hope she got some fire styles. We'll see what happens though. But you see the spectrum of inequality to equality, and it's like we gotta do better. We gotta do better. We gotta make it more on the side of equality. Can't be having all these one-sided things. Exactly.
They're not token women. These are athletes. They're professionals. Let's actually treat them like that. I think them being on shoe deals, in their minds, it's like, oh my God, we got a shoe deal. But in the brand's mind, it's like, okay, now we got a face to show that, hey, we're for, you know, equality, gender equality, and treating other athletes, female athletes, as equal. And now it's like, with everything going on, now it really is exposing, like, hold on, like, you're still treating them as token, like, players, token athletes. They're not just token people. These are the main attractions in their league. You know, so it's crazy. Yeah, Sue Bird has not got a shoe deal. Taurasi, Griner, a lot of these athletes. So
it's a shame. It is genuinely a shame. But I really hope when it comes to equality that this is the next step, and that it becomes more than just a shoe deal, but it also. That it's more than just the equal pay. Riley brought it up. The WNBA, they fought. Shout out to Riley, by the way, part of the Full Court Press crew. If you guys need a good basketball podcast, go ahead and check out Full Court Press. Riley, Pierre, Matt, they're doing the thing over there. But they fought. They got a pay bump, all of that, maternity leave paid. But now you have the setback of this bubble. And we see that even though we thought they'd made some strides, we thought the WNBA had made some strides, that it really haven't. They still have a long way to go. The Elena Deladon situation being a key reminder of that. So equality, the fight still presses on. Like we've said, I think for the past month, at least on this program, apply pressure. Keep applying pressure.
Yeah.
A change is not a change until it's fully changed. So keep applying pressure. Keep speaking up, guys. Keep contacting who you need to contact. Keep representing, and keep. Also, one thing I would say is, if you have some sort of platform, if you have, even if it's just your social media page, use it to platform individuals who you know represent a segment of society that is being underrepresented and undertreated and is facing a measure of inequality. So if it's women's athletes that you recognize need it, man, go for it. Give them a great a showing on your platform. Encourage them. Break stories like the story of what Maya Moore did. Break stories like what's going on with Elena Deladon, because people need to know these individuals are more than athletes. These are women. These are mothers. These are daughters. These are sisters, and they have lives to live as well. They're not just entertainment. They're not the butt of jokes like women's sport has been for a while. So keep applying pressure. Keep applying pressure. I think to swing over to the next bubble, the NBA bubble, it has been reported that we'll call it the 6ix9ine snitch line.
Hey, snitching over there.
In case you don't know, there's an anonymous hotline that players can call if they see somebody violating. It appears the line has been used
frequent,
multiple times.
Here's
the
last one,
Jimmy Butler, right?
So no, Jimmy Butler got reports from whoever is next door to him in his hotel that there was too much noise coming from his hotel room. So they came and checked it out. He's been in his hotel room dribbling the basketball all throughout the room. Right. Shout out to.
So I just want to be sure. The hotel is only populated by necessary staff and NBA players, right?
That's what we're saying.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So which one of y'all players is salty that this man Jimmy is working even during his free time? Crazy. Which one?
They hating, bro. They hating.
I swear, you know what? It must be Karl Anthony Towns. He must be next door. Be like, I'm gonna get this guy back. I'm gonna get him back for that embarrassment.
I'm gonna get him back for playing me like that. Here's the thing, though. Here's the $1 million question. I have to ask this. If you were a team that's in the bubble, and you have if you're in the bubble, it means you have a shot at winning a title. Yeah. Would you snitch out a star on another team for you to win a title?
I'm on the phone right now. Speed dial.
Someone said the NBA bubble got their own Randall from Recess. Hey, Randall is the goat of all snitches, okay?
Look, we are already in the shortened season. We are already here. You know, people battling sickness. You might as well look. I'm using the phone. If you are outside your premises, I am calling. You're going home. I don't care. This season is already on an asterisk mode anyway. So if you go to get your Postmates food, I'm calling.
Bro, the fact that he did was just collect his Postmates.
My man collected his Postmates, and
it's like 8-day lockdown. 8-day lockdown.
Was
now.
Wild.
8 days. Cold world.
I can't even get my order.
God.
Right. God.
Get me out of here.
It's gun line, boss. Tell him about the gun line, boss. That's exactly what happened.
That gun line. No more, playboy.
But did you guys see? There's a video actually. Austin Rivers posted today, and he was making a joke about it, but you could tell he was a little salty. He was like, "Yo, did you see this video? Do you see what's happening? You see LeBron's house over here? This is his house.
Yeah,
not this room. This whole thing. It is a huge house.
It's a compound. Much. What we would call back home a compound.
The
compound.
You would think the players are all staying in one place. I'm like, oh no, y'all really thought. I don't know who else is getting that treatment though. Maybe Harden. I don't know. Maybe.
But
Great Freak.
He's not he's not like that though. I don't think he's that personality. He's in the room.
If he did, he would only do it on condition of him being able to bring the whole family.
Okay, it was probably him who was dribbling. It wasn't even Jimmy, but they was like, "I'm gonna still get Jimmy." It's probably Giannis.
No, you know what it was? Hey, it was probably someone on the Bucks snitching on Jimmy, even though they knew it was Giannis.
He's probably Ben Simmons.
They're like, "Yo, Giannis can't get in trouble." But you know that picture of Mo Bamba floating around.
Yo,
my man has fully accepted his African identity.
You look at the report. We call him Swole Bamba.
Listen,
Mo
somebody
Bamba,
said
when
yes,
he was
ma'am.
with
I saw him over
KG,
with a 20-piece.
oh my goodness. With KG, his face is slim, right? It's like, all right, cool. But when you saw him, it was like, he's African, or
Oga Bamba.
why is Africa?
He went from Mo to Mohammed.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, he been having that goosey and jollof.
Listen, but on a serious note, they're in the bubble, right? They're playing, right?
Orlando's in the bubble.
Yeah, Orlando's in the bubble.
If he uses let's just be, I mean, they ain't gonna win nothing, but him gaining that muscle and him playing against somebody like Embiid during that season when the season starts,
about 25 pounds.
I mean, Embiid might be a little shook. I'm just saying, that's a lot. That's a lot of muscle.
We might see a repeat of Embiid in the tunnel after losing to the Raptors last year.
I'm not sure if Embiid will be shook, but it will be a bigger problem because I like Embiid's footwork better than Bamba, but it will be a serious issue for bigs overall if Bamba puts on that muscle and can start bullying. Because he's a good shot blocker.
He can play basketball, for real.
Yeah,
he's a shot blocker. He's got a silky game. I mean,
he's a shooter too.
He can shoot. He can shoot. So if you put that muscle on, and that was the knock on him, was people didn't feel that he could, really get it in down low. You put that muscle on, he's going to be able to hold his own. He will be a starter. Yeah, folks better watch out for Oga Bamba.
Man, I was like, okay. I saw the eba and that goosey that you were eating. Okay, go ahead.
Strong. That's
for those of you who think this is all false, listen. Had an uncle, okay? That's all he ate. My man didn't lift no weights.
Sheesh.
The raw strength that he possessed was otherworldly. For Nigerians, egusi and eba is the equivalent of spinach for Popeye, okay? You get that in us, it's a wrap. And I know Kamar Usman has had his fair share of that, but we will get to that in a moment. Moving right along, though, as we continue to talk about, injustice and inequality, it's come out today that Kenny Stills was arrested while protesting the lack of arrest of the killers of Breonna Taylor because they are still out there. Okay, we are approaching, I think we're at day 124 and they still haven't been arrested. One of them is out there living his best life. Photos came out of him on vacation. These dudes are out and about, roaming and strolling the streets. Roaming the earth. No questions. Okay. But Kenny Stills was out there protesting, and he has been really?
Yeah.
Really?
And we can't say it's a NFL thing because he's with the protesters, so we can't combine it in that sense. But the fact that matters is that dude got arrested with 100 people, and he got out. I believe today. And of course, he made the comment like, "Yo, why am I I got arrested, but Breonna's killers are still out on the loose." It's an atrocity. It is. It's an atrocity that athletes are getting arrested and all this other stuff is happening.
We can arrest 87 people, but not the 4 or 5.
In one swoop, too.
One swoop. As
swoop.
if it was the as if it was just snap of the fingers, like you Thanos. You got the glove. You snap your fingers. They arrested. Yeah. But you can't arrest the 4. You can't even bring them in for questioning.
Well, technicality, they actually did. There's a recording of that whole process of an investigator that wasn't even. That investigator was phony. He was on their side. He was pretty much giving them questions in a way that they don't even have to answer. If we have time, I have the whole video. I'll play it. But he was asking them stuff that it's like you're not actually asking them what did you do? You're framing their words for them to kind of just shoot the shot. You give them an alley-oop. And so it looks like they didn't do anything wrong. They were in the midst of gentrification and, we're in the process of rebuilding stuff. So we had to check the premises and all, a whole bunch of BS. So it's a lot of layers, but there's video to that. But yeah, so there's a reason why they're not arrested yet too.
It is an egregious miscarriage of justice. I haven't used that term, miscarriage of justice, in a while, but listen, This is what we're sitting and facing right now. The inequality.
Big words.
Listen, I have the babao glasses are on, sitting on the bridge of my nose. Okay, that's how I feel today. When we talk about systemic racism, and for those of you who are out there and you may be rolling your eyes when I throw that term out there, listen, you're going to hear it. And we're going to keep saying it. When we talk about systemic racism, this is a prime example. Okay. You are as protesters, but the very thing that they are protesting, you have not even brought to justice.
Yeah.
Outrageous. And that's the thing about systemic racism that I think people fail to miss. People will say, well, I don't see it. The system works fine for me. The system works fine for you because it wasn't designed to hold you back. Mm-hmm. So for those of us who are sitting in it, for those of us who are sitting in the cage, it is just like a zookeeper saying, well, I don't understand why the animals are upset because you're not one of the animals in the cage. We are sitting in the cage and we're saying we want out. And it's until you see what freedom does, then your eyes are open to say, oh my gosh. Wow. Cecil Q. Wow. That's what it is. I'll never forget. This scene got me. Shout out to Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. This scene got me in that whole Tiger King situation. I think it was probably the last 20 minutes of the final episode of the whole, docuseries. And Joe Exotic is on the run. He's closing up shop. He's giving away his animals, dropping them off in different sanctuaries. And he gets emotional as he's talking. He's somewhere in Alabama dropping off two of his chimpanzees that he's had for years. And he said he's watching them. And they're at this animal sanctuary and they're roaming free and they're happy and they're excited. And he says this, he says, as much as I love those chimpanzees, I'm seeing them free and how they're interacting. And I'm thinking about how I had them for the past 15 years in a cages right next to each other, but they're not really getting to interact like they could. And he starts choking up and he said, I never realized what I was doing to them. I didn't realize the lack of freedom that I gave them. And I think it's until some people, it's in their face to recognize just how detrimental systemic racism is to people of color that they know that are close to them. It's until they see it that finally the aha will click. But until that day, don't know what we can say. Moving along though, with the NFL, Dallas has made a final offer to Dak Prescott, to which Dak said, thank you, but no thank you, sir. So Dak will be one of the 12 franchised players this upcoming season.
Look, they dragged their feet too long. They dragged their feet. It was on them.
That's what I'm sorry, Jerry. That's what Jerry does. This is Jerry Jones we're talking about. Are we surprised?
I mean, look. This is why when the golf signing happened, the contract extension, it was crazy and unexpected in terms of how much he got. But had we waited, we would probably be in the same situation. Be like, oh, I deserve more. It's like, first of all, golf, you haven't put up any numbers. Like, yes, you went to a Super Bowl, but you haven't put up any numbers similar to what Dak put up or to what Mahomes put up. But he still would have a legitimate stand to be like, all right, that's the market value. I want more. So I was all for everybody getting. I said it. Everybody on their team should get their contracts taken care of before Mahomes does, because once Mahomes kicks in, that whole market about to reset and it's gonna get tougher. It's gonna get tougher. And Jerry Jones thought that Dak would fold. Dak stood his ground, and now you got this situation. It's on you.
Credit to him, but he's gone. I think he's gone by
situation.
It's a situation. It's funny you guys mentioned that. Dak's brother just posted a tweet about less than 30 minutes ago. He's saying there's a reason I was never a Dallas Cowboys fan growing up, or before they drafted Dak. After today, who knows how much longer I'll be cheering for them.
My point exactly.
So with that fresh hot off the presses, we got to ask this $1 million question, or this
first of all, $40 million. They gotta stop doing that, dog. They gotta stop spend in the smoke. They got to stop doing that.
Listen, I mean, it happens with every great free agent these days. We saw it with KD. It is what it is. So here's the $40 million question: where does Dak go if he doesn't re-sign with the Cowboys next year? Because the Cowboys, okay, we already know franchise tag this year. They're gonna have to pay him up some money.
The DC Warriors.
This dude said the DC Warriors. Does he go to DC? Where does he go? What do you guys have here? Because he's not going to be a backup.
It depends on
what you like that. Dak to the Vikings.
It depends on what.
I wouldn't be mad at Dak to the Vikings. Listen, Kirk Cousins is not hefty bag per se. But I don't believe he's the one that can get us over the hump. Okay,
but
statistically, people don't realize statistically he's not that bad.
Oh no,
exactly. But you gotta understand though, he went into New Orleans in the playoffs, overtime, and threw a touchdown to Randolph in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins needs his respect. I know he's not an elite quarterback per se, but this guy is accurate. If he gets a offensive line that plays consistent, and if Dalvin Cook can have a healthy season, Minnesota could go to the Super Bowl. I'm not. They can.
My heart be still. So I ain't crazy out here. Thank you.
I think a good spot for Dak would probably be Indy. Because Indy finally has that good.
So you say get out, Phillip Rivers. We don't care about you.
I mean, yo, he was only a 1 year. Yeah, he was.
With his 20 kids, he's on a 1 year rental.
He's only good for this season. They're not planning on keeping him. But that's the thing. It depends on how well they do. Because if they're going to tank, then they're probably going to try to shoot for Trevor Lawrence or whatnot in the next year's draft. But if they do a decent job with Phillip, they're going to be in that spot where they can't rely really on the draft unless they make some more trades. So if Dak is available, I like it. Their O-line is just as good, if not better than Dallas's O-line. They're younger. They have good running backs in Mack and Hines. You know, they're not Zeke level, but they do what they do. Then you have the receivers. They do have Taylor. So I can definitely see Dak to Indy, and I think it would actually work out well. It would be a good partnership.
Does Dak need to stay in the NFC?
That was my first question.
No, I think the AFC might be a.
What'd you say, Osan?
I said, is Dak better suited staying in the NFC or should he go to the AFC?
AFC. Me personally, I don't think it's going to happen. I think a perfect fit for him would be Tennessee with Derrick Henry, offensive line. That's my personal opinion, but I don't think it's going to happen because they're too committed to Tannehill right now.
Plus
they're going to regret
cashing out. Didn't they just cash out? Oh boy, today
Henry.
Yeah.
Henry just got his chips today. $50 million, 25.5 guaranteed. He got his chips. He was on the borderline of that good old franchise tag.
Yeah.
So shout out to Derrick Henry for getting his chips. He definitely deserved it.
Right. Oh, for sure, Daniel. I personally don't think, Daniel, that Phillip is in Indy to tank. I really don't, but I don't see Indy also being a legit threat too, given the age of Phillip. So I think they'll be at that 8-8 type realm, which puts them kind of outside of, hey, let me get this franchise QB player. So I like Indy as a choice for sure. Tennessee would have been a solid one, but yeah, I agree with you, man. They seem too devoted to Tannehill. They gave him more money than he honestly probably should have earned. It. Yeah. So Indy's a good one, but if he goes to AFC, you know, he got the younger guys. Stacked. Yeah, when it comes to quarterback right now,
it's starting to be real stacked over there.
It's like, look, he left the big boys, the old boys club, and hopped in with the younger guys, and it's can I
the young gun?
He's like, can I hang? I thought I was too young for the older guys in the NFC with the Breeze and Rodgers and whatnot, but man, now I'm looking here. I got LJ, I got Patrick Mahomes, I got Watson. You know, Cam is the oldest one out here. He's balling.
Yep.
Right.
It's
The
there.
AFC is the young gunslingers. It's the young guns right now. That's what it is.
Yeah.
NFC ain't nothing but what, Grandpa and Russell Wilson?
Papa on them. It's Papa on them.
Papa on them. And then you got Russ and Dak.
We gonna call the NFC Papa on the pocket. That's what we gonna call it. Here, here first. Papa on the pocket. That's what it is.
Actually, speaking of Dak on his last year, Aaron Rodgers, is his contract? Because I know he's pissed over there. What's his contract looking like?
He pissed all the time at this point.
I believe he has like 3 or 4 years on his deal, but I think it makes sense if he plays this year and next year. Then obviously it'd be best to trade him in the middle of that deal. So
you don't have to because he's over it.
We talk about
send him to Dallas,
Brady to Tampa Bay move. If Green Bay were to trade AR-12 on the level of impact, where would you put that up? Would it be just as crazy as Tom Brady leaving New England? Would it be crazy as like when Brett Favre first left?
Yeah,
and then
he is Green Bay
because he retired when he was still in Green Bay, and then unretired to come back and went to the Vikings. So before he decided, made like, hey, I'm back. You know what? I felt like I was away. Jets. Yeah, it's like before, I thought I was done, but I came back. Before that happened, when he first, where would you put that level of impact if AR-12 was to get traded?
Here's the thing. I think with
heavy
Brady leaving the Patriots was kind of already in the cards. Like people kind of seen that thing coming. Right. I think with AR-12, people would have been a little more shocked if they hadn't drafted a quarterback. The second they drafted a quarterback, everybody was like, "Whoa, this brother,
yeah.
And if he's not angry, I'll be shocked, you know." Yeah. So I don't think AR-12 leaving is that big of a deal. It's just a matter of where he goes to. I feel like Phillip Rivers was a little bit more of a surprise, just a little bit more, only because
for me, it was more so like, all right, I get it. He's one of those consistent quarterbacks, you know, especially when it comes to fantasy football. He's a consistent quarterback for you. But him leaving, it's not like, he was still balling out and he's now going to go to a team where he could do damage a la Peyton Manning when he came back and he got cut. And so he went to Denver. It was like, all right, you gave him, we don't know if he still has a talent. People still think he has a talent, and you give him a good team. Let's see what happens. Phillip is like, Phillip, we know you have talent. You haven't done much. It's not really their fault. It's also not fully your fault. Now we're giving you a new team. I'm not expecting much from Phillip. So that's why for me, it didn't mean much. I was like, I don't expect him to be like, all right, we're about to go to the Super Bowl run, especially when he just stayed in the same conference, just switched divisions. I'm like,
if Drew Brees had left the Saints, I think would have been shoot, Drew Brees. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Wait, before the comments, or after
especially
the comments?
when you look at Tom Brady, you're coming off losing in the wild card too. It's different if you had just made a Super Bowl run, but you're coming off taking that L that we all kind of expected in the wild card, and it is what it is.
And it looked like that was their year to really do some damage because they finally were healthy. And everything was clicking. The defense was on fire. The offense was clicking. Because that's one of the things with the problem with the Chargers was that they couldn't stay healthy. Every training camp, every preseason is like star player hurt. Keenan Allen out.
Yeah.
There's
Derwin James.
It's just like, hey, like we trying to see whether the Chargers are really about it because we haven't really seen them make noise since Peyton was in the league, low key. We haven't really seen them be a threat like that. So they were finally a threat, come up against the Patriots, and got hogwashed. Just straight smacked up. And we were like,
wax on, wax off, Danielson.
This wasn't the same team we saw in the regular season that was dominating like that. No, this was a whole I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the Patriots started slapping them up like, okay. That was crazy. So for me, it's like Phillip Rivers to Indy. I see it as just a placeholder. Like, yes, they gave him $25 million, but it's a placeholder. I don't expect much from him. I don't expect them to win the division.
Daniel said they should have stayed with Brissett. I
agree. Yeah.
I was surprised. Sure. I was surprised because I saw no reason not to stay with Brissett.
Yeah.
So
he showed promise.
Yeah. He wasn't turning over the ball. He
Exactly.
was doing a good job of using his legs to keep plays alive and to keep drives alive. So it's just a matter of, at that time too, it was just health. Because I know he missed maybe about 4 games. Because I had him as my backup QB in fantasy, you know.
He was actually not bad for fantasy.
No, he wasn't.
He had top 12 QB numbers within the first half of the season. So that's actually not a bad pickup.
It was the second half that he started missing a few games. So it's just like, what y'all continue to grow, because I mean, we look at the Colts the last 3 seasons. The big knock against them was, they can't protect Luck. They can't protect Luck. And the year they finally have the best offensive line they've had in years, Luck is like, all right, I'm out. I'm gonna head out. I'm dipping. I'm good, y'all. This is too little, too late. So we bring in Brissett, who Luck co-signed on Brissett. Luck co-signed on him, and he was under Bill. He was under Brady. So he has some knowledge. He's not a scrub. And he was doing well. We weren't expecting to do what Luck did, by no means, because there is only one Luck. Brissett is nowhere near the talent of Luck. But we expected Brissett to do well. And they start off rocking. It surprised a lot of people, because a lot of people said that with Luck out, all right, Colts, they're not winning the division no more. Because I had the Colts winning the division. And I still felt like, all right, they might not win it, but they'll be second. And they started looking like, okay, they could actually compete for this division. Injuries kicked in, they kind of fell off. They choked some games away. Because remember that game against the Chiefs? They played the Chiefs very well.
Bro, they played them. They played them well.
Because that was the Chiefs' first loss, right, that season against the Colts?
Yeah. I mean, to Felipe's point, at times Jacoby has a tendency to hold on the ball too long. I've been noticing at times, but if it's there, he'll take his shots. And keep in mind, Bill Parcells co-signed Jacoby Brissett heading into the draft, and that's why. And Bill Belichick, one of his guys he looks up to is obviously Bill Parcells, because there's rumors around. They're saying that Bill Belichick is not as great as a scout as he thinks. So he relies a lot on elite college coaches to see, what skill guys and quarterback guys to draft, and if they fit that system. So Brissett fit the system well. Remember, Jacoby had success when I think one of the quarterbacks was down, and he came in and he played great. That one time, his first start over in New England. So keep that in mind with that. So I mean, Jacoby, he's solid.
That's why Bill is still so close to Nick Saban.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. If you've seen their conversation that they had on, I think it was for Showtime or HBO, you should definitely check it out. It was a good peek into both of their brains and their history and all of that. I like that little kind of stuff. Anyhow, for the real reason we're here today, for the real reason why my brother Abe is not jot out today, for the real reason why your boy got a fila, a white tee, and some gold.
Here it is.
UFC 251. Fight Island.
Man. What a card.
Boy.
What a card.
What a card. It wasn't. That's
all right, first off, everybody complained about Usman was boring. Oh, he should have. It was the whack. Look, dog. Look, y'all just mad. That Nightmare decided to win a title, to keep his championship belt. He decided to do what he does to win, and y'all wanted something more exciting. First of all, I need y'all hitters to fall back. Y'all know one Wahala now. All right?
Talk your ish.
Respect your champion. Respect your champion. All right?
Talk to him, Felipe. Almost night out here. Listen. Okay? You got me banging on my seat for a second here. Listen. For those people who say, if you want knockouts, watch those guys who are on the undercard, because they fight too loose. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the problem. People don't know how to appreciate skill. People forget this man, Kamaru Usman, okay, is an NCAA title winning wrestler. Okay. Yeah. So he grapples. We saw him. Listen, we saw that he can throw blows and exchange punches with Colby Covington. Okay. If you want to see a knockout, watch what happened to Colby Covington's jaw. That was perfect personal. He still hasn't recovered. But to watch the way that he wrestled Masvidal, okay, Masvidal's a brawler. We know that. Come on. That's like me, all right, going head up with Mike Tyson. I know Mike Tyson is going to punch me out. So what am I going to do? I'm going to scrap him the only way I know how, okay? Folks out here expecting him to go blow for blow with Masvidal. No, come on, man. And plus, if you listen, this is the other thing. I love all aspects of sports. One thing I love more than any is tactics and strategy, okay? Listening to the way that Usman's corner was talking to him throughout the fight after round one, because round one, that was Masvidal. That was Masvidal's fight. Never forget, Masvidal came in on 6 days of a 6-day notice. Masvidal comes in, and this is what Usman's corner tells him in the break in between rounds 1 and 2. Listen, don't fall into the trap.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you do best. Get some takedowns. But Masvidal, he's going to have 10 of those spurts throughout the next 4 rounds, 10 of his flurries. Withstand the flurries and do what you need to do. And let's get out of here with this title belt again. And like clockwork, if you watch the fight, Masvidal had those little flurries. Didn't do nothing. But best believe Usman was shooting, getting those takedowns. That man, he looked like he was wrestling practice.
That takedown, Masvidal looked like he was in a BET movie talking about, this is how I got here.
Hey,
you may be wondering how I got here. It all started, with the decision to accept the fight.
This is how
Fight Island.
Like, look, real talk. Shout out to Jorge who put up a good match. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because again, like you said, maybe it's just a Nigerian thing. We love strategy, we love tactic, we love seeing how your mind works. We love seeing how you get down. We don't want to see, hey, let me just brawl in and do nonsense or rishi. We want to see you use your head. And Usman, he uses his head. Stylebender, they use their head.
Yeah. Knock the other person to hit that.
So why if Usman started boxing and going punch for punch with Jorge,
blow for blow,
and Jorge slapped the hell out of him, just slapped him.
Slapped him on his catch.
We would have been Usman. What is wrong with you? Are you stupid?
Little boy.
Kilo Shelle. Did you do drugs? Man. Did you do drugs before the match? So he got himself an A+. We don't complain. We accept our blessings.
We thank God.
Keep it going. So
listen, it was tactically a sound fight. Masvidal said it himself. I appreciate for all of the John, because one thing we know about Masvidal is he can yap. Okay, so he was yapping before the fight. He was yapping in the run up to the fight. He was yapping in the fight. My man is. I'll give Masvidal an A+ for gamesmanship, because while he was sitting there getting drug across that cage, he was still sitting there chuckling like everything okay, even though he was winded. My man was winded.
Yeah.
I'll give him an A+ for gamesmanship. But after the fight, goes up to Usman, and they have a conversation, healthy dialogue. Congratulations, you did your thing. Hey man, let me get a couple more fights under my belt, says Masvidal, and I want that rematch. Now it's come out that Masvidal wants a straight up rematch right now. No, you gonna have to wait. Work your way up here. Okay. As a matter of fact,
someone said to that, as far as Masvidal won the rematch, they say, you know what? If you're gonna ask for this, then it has to be belt for belt. Like there is no. He lost that opportunity to get his belt.
Hey, listen.
So
put your belt up. Let my brother get the welterweight belt and the BMF belt.
Put it up.
Me and Abe will go buy belts ourselves. Okay, we will show up on this program with belts.
Look, first of all, Usman came in listening to Bana Boy. He came in listening to Bana Oluwa Bana Boy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I beg.
Look, Usman, give me a call. I will come showing out in your train. I will come showing out.
Usman, they got the music. They got your walkout.
We're here for you. We will show all the way.
Walk out.
We you'll see Niger swagger. You'll see it. But but meanwhile, whereas Osa and I are in unity about this. Unfortunately, sometimes we gotta fight. Sometimes we just gotta fight.
We gotta beef. There's a borderline civil war. We'll call it Biafra Part 2.
Oh,
if you don't know about Biafra, look it up. Biafra the sequel.
Just don't get done up like Holloway.
If you want like a Hollywood version, go watch Tears of the Sun. Go watch that. But yeah, so next week we have the great EPL team called the Chelsea Blues playing playing some decent average team called the Manchester United or City, something like that. You know, something like that.
Man, you
the Red Devils, something like that. Just something random. So we got Chelsea.
I'm not gonna let you continue with this rubbish. Okay, FA Cup semifinal.
Where's Sammy
FA Cup semifinal, July 19th.
Where Brian
okay,
at?
Currently, in case you don't know, since you want to talk crazy,
Amar.
if we look at the scorecard, the past 5 matches, okay, Manchester United 4 wins, no losses. This is against Chelsea, and 1 draw. We are going to beat you like fine pounded yam. Going to beat you like fine pounded yam. So do not stop. For the record, in preparation for this game, I just found out today it's shipping out. Okay, in case you haven't followed the EPL, they were the only league in UEFA in the soccer restart to not have player names on the back of their jerseys, but they just simply have Black Lives Matter on the back of the jersey instead of player names. Instead of all this kerfluffle that the NBA has over having what statements on the back of jerseys, they just have Black Lives Matter. So the only team in the EPL to sell those jerseys was Manchester United. So I just found out mine is shipping out today. Hopefully we get here in time for the match. It'll be good, great, amazing. We in here.
Shout out to Brian Lewis. I decided to cop me the 1994 Chelsea home jerseys with the Amigas on the
that
chest.
jersey.
So,
I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna be the next wave for us. Retro.
Yeah, no, I'm about to get me a whole retro collection. I'm about to get the 86 one too. So when that comes in, you know. So anyway, like I said, the great team of Chelsea will be playing next week against some scrub. I already know that Chelsea's gonna win this match because I remember someone, some random person in a chat was talking about this Manchester team was going to be top 4 after yesterday or 2 days ago.
I need you to get your story straight.
Unfortunately, they didn't come away with the 3 points, so they're still outside looking in. But anyway, while we are in the inside, we just got to make sure we protect our windows and doors and not let these hooligans, these reformed hooligans, these unreformed hooligans come in and try to break into our nice abode. So
anyways, I'm done. We're done with you. Moving right along to our final segment. Y'all love it. We're going to slide on over into the rumor mill with his fresh ball fadeness.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that it's like Stockton. Just joshing. I'm spending this holiday locked in. My body got rid of them toxins. Sports in the top 10.
Okay, you guys, I just got this in. The Giants and the Vikings discussed a potential trade revolving around franchise tag safety Anthony Harris back in March. But however, Minnesota views him, they view him very highly. So
I do too.
So nothing. I know, but as of right now, I don't see it happening because the talks have stalled, and I don't think that's going to happen in regards to that. Now, another one. This last one, Redskins second-year wide receiver Kelvin Harmon. He tore his ACL. He came out of NC State. I know. He tore his ACL. A lot of people felt like he could have been that second receiver outside of McLaurin. But I'm gonna throw in a fantasy nugget for you guys, especially people that in deeper leagues. Obviously, there's like a massive target dispensary that's going on in with the Redskins. The only one that's really draftable in the early to mid rounds is actually not really mid rounds. It's Terry McLaurin. But a receiver you need to keep out for. His name is Steven Sims Jr. He does kick returns and punt returns, so that counts for fantasy wise as well. Haskins started to target him a lot in the second half of the season. He had 8 targets last year. Half of them went through touchdowns. 7 out of his 8 targets were inside the 10-yard line. So keep that in mind. He could be a guy who could be targeted in the red zone. He could have that Cooper Kupp factor in terms of red zone ability. I'm not talking about caliber player.
Are we putting a lot of hope in Haskins then? To get him that ball?
Well, I'll say the only positive thing with Haskins is he did play well in the second half. I mean, especially the last 4 games of the season, he did play better. So that's something to look forward
He's
up to.
not Baker Mayfield.
He's not, but he has upside, and he has upside. But
would you rather?
But he has McLaurin. He has a guy he has that chemistry with in college.
Okay,
McLaurin.
Let me ask this.
Go ahead.
For fantasy purposes, we know Haskins is not a starter, obviously, in a fantasy lineup. Would you have him as a backup?
No, he's not draftable.
Okay, thank you.
Haskins is not draftable. He's not. He's a guy that you could probably get off the waiver wire if he starts to put 3 or 4 games, starts to heat up.
We finna have a SSAW fantasy football league this season.
Yes, we quarantine. We don't have a choice.
By the way,
choice.
I'm throwing the gauntlet right now. I'm looking at all the other podcasts out there. Shout out to Ringside Mayhem for dropping their new episode today. Cover Zero, I'm especially looking at y'all. Reform Hooligans, where y'all at? Diamond Talk, Rob Diamond Talk, what's up? And Full Court Press. I'm throwing the gauntlet right now. Osa and Abe is going to win this year's fantasy football title. I don't
know about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
First of all, you part of Osa and Abe show. What you mean?
How you gonna be on the show and say you don't know about that? You're supposed to ride till we die. Look at you. You ain't right. Listen. He get a ball fade and start acting all kinds of shit. Forget you.
I thought it was just a civil war between me versus you, Osa. But apparently, Mario just came in like a third party, be like, "Oh, what y'all doing over there?" Yeah, I'm fighting.
Colonizer. He came in like a colonizer.
If I'm in the league.
If you in the league, you represent Osa and Abe. What you talking about?
You stepping with us. You rocking with us.
Look, Sports High Radio is with us.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, me and Daniel know because we faced off against each other in the championship last year. Shout out to Daniel for joining my league last year. Much respect, man, and congrats again.
I don't care. You are with us. You are a whole trader.
He really just he's really a constant picture on our show and said, "Oh, y'all thought y'all was winning."
I think
you are disgusting. I am
disgusted. He was about to Judas us, yo.
I'm disgusted. Your mother and your father.
We're gonna be playing against each other in the league. What are you guys talking about? We're gonna be playing against each other.
Hold on. First of all, the idea that they just brought up actually can be a serious idea as far as podcast versus podcast. Okay, let's just get that out there.
Joking.
He thought this was a joke. He thought we was playing. This is real life.
Emmanuel. So, where's your alliance at? Where's your bias at, man? Mr. Sportshead Radio.
Look, if I'm in the league and I'm playing against y'all, it's gonna be competitive. That's all I got.
Playing against us. You are with us.
Saying that.
This is us. This podcast against all the other podcasts.
Oh, that's no. Yeah, I'm with y'all.
Okay, then.
But if you're talking like straight, like going against each other in the league, then okay. But of course I'm with y'all.
No, this is Osa and Abe.
Pick him off the show. Pick him off the show.
Of course I'm with y'all, man.
He about to get traded. What podcast are we trading him to?
Yo, yeah.
We about to have some podcast trades going on. We're playing. Side note, can we stop referencing them as the Washington Redskins? We're gonna reference them as the Washington X until they get a new name.
That's
Washington
fair.
X.
The Maryland Warriors.
You got anything else for us? Emmanuel, you getting cut straight.
You said what?
All you gotta do to defeat Emmanuel is dim the lights back. Y'all ain't right. You see how they played you? You see how they played you? No, Daniel, we was joking. You can't have them. Emmanuel, what else you got for us? These people are greedy.
No, basically it's that, and I'm based on the value you get for Steven Sims Jr. He's wide receiver 83 on ESPN. And another name you want to look out for, he's a rookie wide receiver from Liberty, Antonio Gandy Golden. He's wide receiver 88. So he's a guy I will potentially look in my watch list to see if he could get some snaps on the field. Because last year, Steven Sims had 33% snap percentage throughout the year, but his snap percentage went up close to the 40s in the second half of the year, and half of his targets were targeted inside the 10-yard line. So Golden is a guy you want to keep an eye out for, especially with the Redskins receivers being really thin right now. I wouldn't be surprised.
Washington X.
Yeah, and also one more thing with the Redskins is a receiver that's trying to get reinstated, which is Josh Gordon. He's kind of been campaigning trying to be signed with the Redskins. So he's been campaigning on Instagram lately. So that's all I got to say.
It's just I'm not upset with him really because I feel like the punishment for weed has been too severe.
It's excessive. It's excessive. Let's be honest.
Made him out to be a villain. But at the same time, my man, you've been given way more chances than anybody else in the league.
There it is.
Something's got to give, though.
My man, you was with the Patriots and the Seahawks.
How you give up the Patriots?
Tom Brady, Russell Wilson.
Come on, man.
Oh.
And they
You
was
were first of all, it was multiple times. It was
five
you
Super
came
Bowl
to the Pats, you got into a little trouble. They took you back. Got into a little trouble. First of all, when the Pats give you more than one chance, that's crazy. When they even give you a chance, that's crazy.
And not only that, when the Patriots beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, they still funded him money to go into rehab out in Florida.
Come
a few years back.
You didn't need to mention that.
Florida.
You could have just said the Patriots.
On the same plane as Robert Kraft was taken to Florida. Anyhow, I'm done. I think we're done.
Christ.
I'm good. I'm good.
You're welcome. With that being said, folks, this concludes another episode of the Osa and Abe Podcast. Shout out to all y'all who are watching it live. If you're watching the replay, appreciate it. If you ever want to watch live, we are live on. If you look us up on YouTube, SSAWTV every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Check us out. And if you're listening to the replay, send it out to some friends. Share it. If you're enjoying the vibe, if you're enjoying the spice, it is your boy.
We officially on YouTube now, baby.
Officially on YouTube. And your other boy Abe. Tune in next week to see how the Biafra Part 2 went down.
We all know Chelsea gonna win.
But y'all know. Anyways, y'all know our slogan. One thing, 2 words, get it in your brain. Oh
man.